Okay, magandang araw po. So let's solve a sample problem here regarding consolidation settlement. So we have a rigid 3-meter square footing is constructed over a loose sand layer as shown in the figure. It carries a total load of 710 kilonewtons. We have to compute the elastic settlement of 3-meter footing if the Poisson's ratio of soil is 0.32. The modulus of elasticity of soil is 16,000 kilopascal. The influence factor is 0.88. Okay, so for the elastic settlement, we have a formula there. That is elastic settlement equivalent to QB multiplied by 1 minus mu squared IP over ES. Okay, so substitute natin mga parameters. So, ano ba yung Q? Q is the pressure at the bottom of the footing. Ano yung pressure natin dyan? And that is P over A. The base of the footing is 3 meters by 3 meters. So, for the pressure, that is P over area, where P is 710 kilonewtons over the area of square foundation, 3 meters quantity squared. Multiplied by the width D. The width is 3 meters multiplied by 1 minus mu. Mu is Poisson ratio 0.32 squared. Closed quantity multiplied by influence factor 0.88 over modulus of elasticity of soil 16,000 kilopascal or kilonewton per square meter. So cancel yung kilonewtons, yung meter squared, and then yung unit magiging meter. And that is our settlement. So, pag nakuha nyo yan, yung result dito, imumultiply lang natin mismo ng 1,000 to make the unit or the settlement in terms of millimeters. And that will be equivalent to 11.68 millimeters. And that is our first requirement. Second requirement, we have to compute the primary consolidation settlement of the clay layer if it is normally consolidated. Okay, so for primary consolidation settlement, pag pinag-usapan yung normally consolidated clay, iisa lang yung formula doon. And that is primary settlement equivalent to CCH over 1 plus E sub O logarithm of PO plus delta P over PO. Okay. Substitute natin yung mga parameters. CC. CC is the compression index. And compression index, since binigay yung ating liquid limit, that will be equivalent to 0.009 LL minus 10. So substituting, that is 0.009, liquid limit is 45 minus 10. Compression index will be equivalent to 0.315. And then we have H. H is the thickness of the clay layer. The thickness is 4 meters. And then E sub O, given in the problem, the initial void ratio of the clay, 0.60. PO. PO is the effective stress at the mid-height of clay layer. So, at the mid-layer, anong effective stress natin? So, na-discuss na natin yan sa ating principle of effective stresses. Mag-uumpisa lang tayo mismo sa taas and then papunta sa point of consideration natin. And that will be equivalent to 16 times a depth of 5.2 meters plus 18 times 2 meters plus 20 hanggang mid-layer lang, so multiplied by 2. Minus for water pressure, 9.81 multiplied by a total depth of water which is 4 meters. So, for the value of effective stress, PO is equivalent to 119.96 kilo Pascal. And then, compute for delta P. Delta P is the additional stress at the mid-height of the clay layer. So, for us to compute this one, we will use trapezoidal rule. Yung 1:2 method. So, magkikreate lang daw tayo ng trapezoid dyan. And then, yung slope ng ating trapezoid, 1 is yung horizontal, and then 2 yung vertical, both side of our trapezoid. Ngayon, for the delta P, using trapezoidal rule, we can use the formula of Simpson's rule. And that is equivalent to the pressure at the top layer plus 4 times the pressure at the mid-height layer plus the pressure at the bottom layer of the clay divided by 6. So, ano yung pressure sa top layer? Meron tayong pressure dyan. Again, pressure is the load applied over the area within that layer. And then also sa bottom layer, and then sa mid-height layer, and then sa bottom layer. So for the top layer, that is P over A, the load is 710 over the area. Para ma-compute natin area, compute nyo lang yung side na to. At yung side na yan is just equivalent to the width of the foundation plus yung distance ng ating layer na o yung depth ng ating layer na in-analyze from the base of the footing. So that is 3 plus 6, that is 9. So 9 meter quantity squared plus 4 times the pressure at the mid-height, the load applied, 710 over yung length na to. Yung length naman na to is equivalent to the width of the footing plus the depth of this layer from the base of the footing. So that is 3 plus 8, that is 11. Okay, 11 meter quantity squared plus the pressure at the bottom layer of the clay dito. So that is P over A. The load applied is 710 kilonewtons over the area. Para makuha natin area, analyze natin yung side na to. And this side is equivalent to the width of the footing plus the depth of this layer from the base of the footing. So 3 plus 10, that is 13 meters quantity squared divided by 6. Yung iba, yung delta P mismo is just equivalent to the pressure at the mid-height of the clay layer. So, konting discrepancy lang naman po mismo yung values ng etong value na to tsaka yung kabuuan na to. So, maalin man okay lang po. So, for delta P value, that is equivalent to 6.07 kilo Pascal. So, applying to our formula of primary settlement, that will be equivalent to apply lang natin. So, therefore, primary settlement is equivalent to CC. Ano yung CC natin? That is 0.315 multiplied by the thickness of the clay layer, 4 meters, over 1 plus E sub O, 0.60, logarithm of PO, 119.96 plus delta P, that is 6.07 divided by PO, 119.96. Therefore, primary settlement will be equivalent to 16.89 millimeters. And that is for the second requirement. For the third requirement, compute the total consolidation settlement of the clay 5 years after the completion of primary consolidation settlement. Time for completion of primary settlement is 2 years. The secondary compression index is given 0.02. So, para makuha natin mismo yung ating total settlement, kailangan natin kunin muna yung ating secondary settlement. Okay. So, for the value of secondary settlement, we have the formula for that. That is equivalent to C alpha H over 1 plus EP logarithm of T2 over T1. So, let's analyze yung mga parameters na involved. C alpha is the secondary compression index given sa ating problem. H, again, that is the thickness of the clay layer. And then E sub P, that is the void ratio of the soil at the end of primary settlement. Hindi yung initial. At the end of primary consolidation settlement. So, we have the formula for that. EP is equivalent to initial void ratio of soil minus the change in void ratio of soil. So, change in void of ratio, that is equivalent to CC logarithm of PO plus delta P over PO. So, substitute natin, compression index, binigay sa problem, or nakuha natin kanina, 0.315, multiplied by the logarithm of PO 119.96 plus delta P 6.07 over PO 119.96. Therefore, change in void of ratio of soil is equivalent to 0.00676. And then, EP, apply lang natin sa formula, E sub O is 0.6 minus 0.00676. Doon na lang natin substitute mamaya. And then T2 is the time that the secondary settlement will take place. And that is also the time after na mag-take place ni primary settlement. Yung T1 naman, yun yung time or duration ni primary settlement na magti-take place. So, T2, analyzing the problem, that is 5 years, T1 is 2 years. So, substituting, secondary settlement will be equivalent to C alpha, 0.02. The thickness of the clay layer, 4 meters over 1 plus EP, that is E sub O, 0.6, minus change in void ratio, 0.00676, logarithm of T2, that is 5 over T1, 2. And we can get secondary settlement to be equivalent to 19.98 millimeters. So, computing for the value of our total settlement is equivalent to elastic settlement plus primary settlement plus secondary settlement. Ano yung ating elastic settlement kanina? So, total lang natin lahat. Elastic settlement is 11.68. The primary settlement kanina is 16.89 millimeters plus secondary settlement is 19.98 millimeters. And that will be a total of 48.56 millimeters. And that will be the requirement for this given problem.